there are some scholars in Moorgrave and Arcanics who believe that it's actually the other way around, that changelings were the progenitors of doppelgangers, that perhaps they are some form of altered kind of Dolgrim type of...
Like shifters and werewolves, how those two.
Exactly.
Oh, okay.
How do you feel about those notions, that these doppelgangers are actually from your kind and not the other way around?
Nonsense. Whoever wrote that clearly has little understanding of the world, as I do.
Take that, Keith, you bastard. No.
I'm going to clip that, and I'm going to post it to the Eberron Discord, and I'm going to really, really hope that somebody...
Okay,
There
yes.
we go. We're recording now.
Hi, my name's Rebecca,
And I'm Steve.
and our guest today is... Davvy Chappy.
Wasn't sure if he
Weird
was going to
pause
say...
you- That's a weird pause you put there. You can just say my name, it's fine.
We wanted permission, I wasn't sure.
Well, you're not going to get it. Every time you say it, you're going to have to pay a licensing fee.
I'm
Well-
here too, by the way. Hi, my name's Russell. I'm their roommate.
yeah.
Yes, so for anyone who's listened to us before, Russell is Meeps. That's what we call him.
I
And he's
am
also...
Meeps on Discord. I'm also the voice of Monty Cook, the professor of Menagerie Management at the Mulgrave University in Shan.
So, just the worst characters, obviously.
I don't know what you're talking about. That's probably the best character.
Oh
No,
He
God,
is,
no.
he
Absolutely.
is.
Yeah,
I love
we
him.
love him. He's the
No,
best.
no, we have there's another listener named Reg who has wrote into us every time Monty has come on, because his character is from the Korenberg Library and has gone through and said, Monty is wrong about these things, and here is why.
Reg-
You should not listen to him.
Reg produces the Naturalist Guide to Eberron on
DM's Guild.
DM's Guild. So.
Right. You say naturalist.
Naturalist as in nature, not naturalist as a nudist.
Yeah, well,
Don't get excited.
I
yet.
thought
I'm
that
much
for a
less
while.
interested in this book
Yeah.
now.
I don't think you can get that one in DM's Guild. They have guidelines.
They have guidelines. But yes, we did. We'd spoken a little bit before I hit record because I'm horrible.
Because we thought we were going to go straight into it, and then I just, harpooned that right into an iceberg, so...
But we did meet you at PAX Unplugged last year. It was right after the animating
The
D&D.
Joe Cat
and
and
Puffin
and
and
Dingle Doodles.
Mhm.
I
Their
think I do
panel.
know you. Wait.
We had the bear.
We had the weird
You-
bear.
had-
Right.
Yeah.
You have a picture of this that
Yes.
exists.
Yes,
Yes.
yes. Do you want me
And-
to just send it to you through the House Civis one as opposed to my personal one?
Yeah.
I don't want to dox you. You said your name already, right?
Yeah.
Russell.
Yeah, Russell. You're Russell then.
Yes.
Yeah.
Hi.
Okay. Yeah, I see your bear. Wait a minute.
It's not
You
my
said
bear, it's Rebecca's bear.
It's my bear.
I'm sorry. I'm a little confused because I do have the picture here. This is a picture of me, Jacob, and Logan with the bear, but none of you.
Yes.
Yes.
That's correct.
I was in line.
we were trying to make I think we're trying to make the bear Twitter famous, or was it Instagram famous?
And he is Instagram famous.
Yeah, well,
he's not.
But before we had a podcast, we were like, let's take this bear with us everywhere and make the bear famous. And then we got a podcast. So-
Oh, well, I mean, you chose a harder thing as opposed to an easier thing, but I was just surprised because normally when someone wants to take a picture, it's because they would like to be in the picture.
There is a picture of me.
Yeah,
I do have a picture of me. I think I was in the beginning of one of your videos because one of our players went, "Oh my God, you're in the beginning of a Davvy Chappy video. What is this?" And I'm just like, "I was."
I mean, if I've taken a picture with you, normally when I take the picture, I always try to look and ask, "Hey, is it all right if I put this in a video at the beginning of one of my videos?" Because at the beginning of each of my video, I do have a picture of me that gets thrown up, and I prefer to have them be new each time, and I double prefer if it's with a fan, because I love taking pictures with fans and then posting them online for that exact reaction.
It's a fun time. Like it's like that's the entire reason I started watching your videos.
What an asshole.
Yeah, no, that's the
was
real
entirely
reason, is
selfish
marketing.
reasons.
What
Like,
an
and then like I
asshole.
binged like 20 of them in a day, because that's how I watch YouTube. I'll just go, let me watch all of their videos, and then I'm good.
Oh, well, actually, that's sort of the point of it all. So, like, I'm sorry, this is a podcast not about me and...
Dude,
no,
no,
this
go ahead.
episode's about you, my
This-
friends. Absolutely.
Our OOCs are always just ADHD, the podcast.
Yeah,
So
right.
please.
Yeah.
We had one. I think it was one of the guests Kanga was on, and you guys talked about Pride and Prejudice for like the full hour.
Right.
Don't call
So,
me out like this.
so I've been watching YouTube for as long as YouTube has been around. Like, I grew up on YouTube, and I sort of understood a little bit more of the algorithm than people who wanted to be like YouTube-y. And one of the things I realized right away is that it doesn't matter if you have like a really famous, popular, viral video. What matters is if you have a bunch of good videos, because people like you will watch a video, and then right after, they'll think, that was good. I would like more of that, please. And so they'll just start watching each and every one of them. And so that's sort of,
Yeah.
like, that's what propelled me to continue doing videos. Or initially, like, the reason I made my channel in the first place was because I really wanted to teach people how to play D&D. I ran my Dungeons & Dragons club in high school, and so people would keep asking, hey, how do I make a character? And I would repeat over and over basically the same things. And so eventually I thought, okay, what if I just make a video so that these people will leave me alone in real life because I have anxiety, and if you talk to me, I'll squeal.
That sounds like the three of us. It's like whenever random people start talking to me, I just shut down and go, I don't know why you're talking to me.
See, I'm the exact opposite. I'm good in person, but online, I'm like, I have no idea what I'm supposed to do here.
Or now it's completely different because there's a power differential here. So if I decide to, my voice can crush you, and I'm aware
Yes.
of that. So I'm always at the top of my game. But so when I started making videos, I was making them like with the intention of just showing to random people that would like ask me, hey, how do I play D&D? But I knew in the back of my mind, if I just kept making a video every single week, and they were all like at a high enough level quality, eventually, the amount of people who would watch one video and then watch the next video and then watch the next video, and then you have 2 people, then 5 people doing all of that over and over and over again, that would eventually convince the algorithm, hey, this is a person that we need to share. And around my Warlock video, that is what happened. And so I blew up at that point, just kept doing what I've been doing for 2 years. I have completely not changed my style even a little bit, and now here we are.
I mean, if it works, it works.
Yeah,
Like,
no.
that, from my understanding, like that's the worst thing you can possibly do on YouTube is just change your brand drastically.
I love
It's
that it sounds like a really weird, like, listener pyramid scheme.
Yeah.
Well, no, it's just how it is. Like that's how YouTube is. That's what everybody wants to do, or should want to do if they want to like grow a channel. Oh, I hate talking about it because I hate feeling like a gross analytic person.
Let me talk about growing my channel.
Right. It's
Yeah.
Yeah,
But then I'm also the same way because I look at our analytics like obsessively, and I'm like, oh well, here's things that we need to start doing. Oh,
to
okay.
be fair, you do have a business management degree, and you're just like, I have to put all this in an Excel spreadsheet.
Oh, I get it, because like when I started to like when my analytics actually started to do things, I was watching them intently, not because like I had any idea how to read them, but because it's just so cool, like to like look at where people come from and what their demographics are, and like how much of a video they watch, and like whether or not they're commenting on a specific type of. It's just to see how your video affects people in like transformable data is interesting to look at.
Like, why the fuck do we have some form of South African listener? Is this a VPN?
Right?
No, we have a
Probably
South
is.
African listener.
I have several.
We have a few South African
We're
listeners.
more
It's 'cause
popular
it's-
there than we are in the state here.
Yeah, because like the one guy there went, "Hey everybody, You should listen to this.
Yeah, all 5 D&D players in South Africa.
Which brings us to our sponsor, NordVPN.
We
No,
wish.
as always, it is Raid Shadow Legends.
Oh my god. So,
Brought to you by Squarespace. That's what our website is built with.
This week we have the OOC episode that's going out to our patrons is going to have just Steve and I just talking about how we would introduce Raid Shadow Legends as
I
as
actually
a
have a story.
sponsor.
Oh, good.
Oh,
Oh, yes,
yes.
please.
Oh, so, well, it's not okay. Maybe I presented that poorly. It's not exactly a story, but it's a
you
thing that
didn't see
happens.
what happened, but both Stephen and Rebecca went, "Oh, good, yes," and then leaned into the microphone like, "Tell me more, good sir."
Okay, so I'm very, very, very awkward when it comes to the business side of my channel. I don't like the idea of having a business side of my channel. I love that that I can do this full time and it's completely my job to just do D&D all day, every day. I think that's fantastic, but I don't like being businessy about it. So I do a really weird thing when it comes to sponsors. Whenever somebody approaches me with an advertising opportunity, and this is for every person that does it, including Raid Shadow Legends, who did ask, my response to them is, fantastic. How about you and I play a video game as we talk over this advertising deal that you'd like to do with me? How does Overwatch sound? Or perhaps League of Legends? And if they say yes, then that means I want to work with them.
Have you had anybody say yes yet?
When I was advertising Stibble's Codex of Companions, I played Overwatch with RuneSmith. I didn't know him at the time. That was his first introduction to me, is he tried to advertise his new book on my videos, and to do so, he had to beat me while I was playing Reaper or something.
Oh, no.
I'm a fucking spaz about it, but
It's been a while
Duly
since I've actually
noted.
played
I
Overwatch.
need to brush up on Overwatch if ever.
Man, it's interesting because you didn't actually ask us to play Overwatch or League of Legends,
Well,
so
no,
I don't
this
know what
isn't- this
special.
isn't a
But-
sponsor.
Yeah, we're not sponsored.
Yeah,
Yeah, I guess
yeah,
it
this
is.
wasn't a paid sponsorship.
No.
For you, I made an exception. One, because it wasn't a money thing, and that's what really weirds me out about it. But two, you are a podcast for Eberron, and I've made 3 separate videos just teaching the lore of Eberron because I love the world so much. Eberron Rising from the Last War is still my favorite book, not because it's good, but because it's Eberron, and I'm totally biased about it.
Have you had a chance to look over the
Exploring
Exploring
Eberron.
Exploring Eberron?
No, I haven't actually. I've been so busy that I haven't even I've forgotten to order it.
Oh
You've
my
got
god, there's so much in there
to.
about the planes, the clans of the Moorholds, the Dakani. Oh my
Goblin
god, there's so
packing
much in there.
Glossary, man.
There's so much good in that book, and I've just I can't stop reading it.
So I guess really that brings me to one of the questions that I was thinking of was obviously when I messaged you on my personal account, you were we were at dinner and I barely had time to catch up with that because my food just got there and I was like, oh, let me start eating, and then you're just like, yes, whatever it is, I'm in, please let me do this, and then and I'm just like, how do I eat and do Twitter at the same time? I am old. And then So obviously you're excited about Eberron. So really, what is the thing that drew you to Eberron itself?
Right. I checked the message, by the way. You sent me a very good evening, Davvy. My name is Russell. Here's a paragraph, very formal. My response verbatim was, do you have any idea how much I love the world of Eberron? Very much. The answer is very much. I would love to be involved in this. So I love fantasy. I think that's obvious. Lord of the Rings, C.S. Lewis, one of the Chronicles of Narnia. Fantasy worlds make me very happy. But what I enjoy more than the thing about Lord of the Rings is that it's a very, how do I put this? It's a Middle Ages world with fantasy elements in it. For me, the more fantasy a thing has, the more exciting it is because it's things that I haven't seen before. It's a world that lives on its own, and it's not just a facsimile of the world we live in or lived in, but also there's wizards. So for Eberron, it carries so many different interesting ideas that not only show that Keith Baker had a lot of ideas of his own, but also had ideas that were trying to circumvent the concept of Dungeons and Dragons. Because I played a lot of Dungeons and Dragons, and one of the things I just enjoy in general is like taking a trope and subverting it. So Keith Baker has an entire like section of his continent where halflings, the tiny homely folk, ride dinosaurs into battle, and there's just dinosaurs there. And then across the world, there's an order of nomadic druid orcs that fight off the forces of evil, just because that's what they're up to. And then like the demons have their own wasteland that they live in and also are like fighting barbarians. There's robots and magical flying ships powered by elementals. I can't explain it. There's just so many amazing things about it.
I'm the novice here when it comes to Eberron, and that's kind of what I enjoy about it, is the magic as science element of it.
I also enjoy that it is a little bit of an advancement in the world, because this isn't just a world that sprang up somewhere and this is how it is. It seems obvious that, like for Eberron, it is the fantasy world, but if it actually continued and went to its natural conclusion, well, not conclusion, but like if it advanced in time, it's more of a noir 1920s world in Sharn, because technology has advanced. Time moved on a bit. You've moved on about 100 years, and so now magic is such a big part of people's lives. And just to see the creative ideas of, what if magic became more commonplace and people used it? How would the world be affected by that? What would it look like? I could go on forever about it.
That's why we ended up doing the Echoers the way that we did, because we were like, what is the next logical thing for Eberron? Mass communication. It would come around right about that same time, the 1920s, where radio is just starting to take off, music is starting to take off. It's after the war, which means that it would be usable by whatever house invested in it, and so we went hard on that and introduced it into it, and that I love the ability, because you can't do that in Faerun. You can't be like, oh, I'm going to create a radio system, because it would just fold in on itself very quickly.
Right? Imagine how, like, think about how many people were upset that firearms were introduced in Waterdeep Dragon Heist. Like, it's just not a world that facilitates any technological advancement, because that's just not the world they live in.
Well, now, be
not
careful.
only that, but like magic items, you're not supposed to really give out magic items except for occasionally in like Forgotten Realms. It's not as prevalent as it is. Magic should be fun. It shouldn't be this, reward at the end of it. You should have it the whole time and enjoy it.
Yeah, that was something like from 3.5. The one thing from 3.5 that I enjoyed, because I'm very much in the it's not my cup of tea crowd. That's going to draw some ire. I know that much already. But
no one knows who you are.
Yeah, nobody knows who it is, so they can yell at me all they want. What was it? It was like the little 6-shooter thing that had like the wands in it.
Oh, okay. The glove that you could bring the wand to your hand with.
I was like, that was like an Eberron specific item, if I remember right, where it's like, oh, okay, it's for artificers, so they can just go, oh, I need my wand of mass healing. All right, it's out. I need my magic missile wand.
Mm-hmm.
Just flick your wrist, it's out. So which is pretty interesting.
It was pretty interesting. I think it was actually a complete scoundrel, the wand sleeve, if I'm not mistaken, but I could be wrong. It's after a while, all those books just start to bleed into each other.
Nerds.
No, it's great. I love it when people talk about the things that they enjoy.
Now, stepping away from Eberron and D&D as a whole, one of your latest videos was you essentially saying that D&D isn't the only tabletop RPG out there, and as someone who has a literal horde of tabletop RPG rulebooks, that many of which haven't actually been played yet, why don't we talk about that?
Oh yeah. So this was actually, at the time of this recording, my latest video. It is called Stop Playing D&D, and I understand that that's a very, clickbaity title, but the goal was to get a reaction from people, because one way or another, they were going to click it. And I do this sometimes with my more think piece videos, where I make a title that is going to be reactionary, but generally, the actual theme of the whole, article, I guess, is not exactly what the title suggests. So for Stop Playing D&D, the point of the video was stop playing only D&D. And I even express, and people memed on me so far, I'm not actually telling people to stop playing D&D. Like, my goal with that was, like, play other systems, because you're never going to know what you're missing. And you might find out that you love D&D more than anything else, and that's fine, that's great, like, to reaffirm your love, but you'll never know if there's something even better for you out there if D&D is the only thing that monopolizes your tabletop role-playing life. Just before this podcast began, we were talking about how I had mentioned in my video that Paranoia was one of my favorite role-playing games ever, and apparently I have a fellow Paranoia, or I have a fellow troubleshooter here.
We have red jumpsuits in the closet right behind us.
We have red jumpsuits.
You have custom badges.
We have custom badges. So mine is like my name. It's RGRY.
And mine's Stephen R.M.Y.
Yeah.
R.
And then you guys have like the badge under it that says T-shooter.
T-shooter,
yeah. T-shooter badges. Yeah. We're nerds.
Oh my god, that's amazing.
Paranoia I played, I want to say like 10 years ago. A friend of mine randomly introduced it to me, and I was like, this is just ridiculous. This is a drunken, ridiculous nonsense game. And I hadn't played it in a long time, and then I picked it back up, and playing Paranoia is wonderful. Running Paranoia is the best, because as a DM, that game is designed for you. You can do whatever the hell you want, and it's absolutely all right.
Steven's his favorite part is the debriefing, where he gets to ask questions.
Like, what is a bear? How did you know what a bear was? He said, hold your horses. We're going to talk about horses in a second. We're going to get back to that. I want to go through some clones.
My DM once had me spontaneously explode for laughing out of game. And I asked why, and it's because and he said it was because my character had gained metaphysical knowledge that someone was laughing at him.
Well, what was it? It was at our friendly local game store. Don't forget to support yours. We have a thing called RPG Discovery Night. Which,
RPG Discovery. Everyone should try RPG Discovery. If you don't have one with your group, create one and just try some different systems, man. It is.
Yeah, it was designed by our friend Steve Shea as, how he puts it, not D&D night. Here are other RPG systems.
That's fair.
We did Paranoia for a couple weeks, and what was it? The
submarine. The submarine was my absolute, because I put them in a submarine, and they had just a panel in front of them that had levers and switches and knobs and all that, and no instruction on what to do. So it was 6 people jammed in a submarine, just hitting buttons, and it was absolutely a wonderful time. They almost died. We stopped as they were about to crash because they had figured out how to pull up at the last moment. I was like, well, we'll pick this up next week with new characters, and then we came back to it. It was real fun. Really, I absolutely love Paranoia because you're encouraging everyone else to just fuck each other over, and that makes a difference in that kind of game, because in D&D, you don't get that outlet. Occasionally you get a rogue who's like, oh, I'm going to steal from everybody, or a wizard who's like, I'm going to shoot fireball in there. But overall, it's like this one. The game is designed to just make everyone miserable.
I think it's important to mention for anybody that's like listening to the podcast and wondering what the hell we're approving here. Paranoia is very much a gag game. It's not meant to be taken seriously at all. If you die, you have a 6-pack of clones, so you have extra lives on purpose because you are supposed to screw each other over, but it's all supposed to be in good fun. And that's why you don't see it in D&D as much, because in D&D, death is at lower levels permanent. So you can't when you screw your friends over, it has lasting consequences that, at least as far as the game goes, are very real. If I push my teammate off of a cliff in Paranoia, he's going to blink a couple of times and land right next to me, and then wonder why the hell I did that.
One of the things that someone had described it as was, it is 3 Stooges in a bomb factory, and I was like, that's exactly what it is.
It's very good.
It's one of those one of those games because the manual on it's pretty thick, but it's more of aimed, in my opinion, towards this is just a one shot. just screw around for a bit, have fun.
It can be, but again, there's a lot in there that if you take the time, you can cultivate an entire campaign around. I think one-shots, it works better, because by the end of the first encounters, everyone has revealed their mutant powers, and everyone has revealed their secret societies. You can't help it.
Mm-hmm.
So, other than paranoia, Mr. Chappy, what is your favorite tabletop RPG?
First of all, please, Mr. Chappy is my father.
It's like, I'm expecting that. There it is.
But I would have to say, I know it's like, I don't know if I'm going to lose nerd cred for saying something that is like not completely obscure and nobody knows about, but I do really heavily enjoy two things. It is both Changeling the Lost and Call of Cthulhu. Both of them have very similar feels to them. They're both very investigative games set in the modern world, not necessarily, but still modern world, where your whole goal is to survive and learn about monsters that are trying to simultaneously hunt you down and destroy you. It's very fun. I've played in multiple games of both of those, and if I had to choose, if you put a gun to my head and forced me to decide which one is better, I would have to say Call of Cthulhu, because learning how to play a character in Call of Cthulhu is a lot easier than trying to decipher the madness that is any World of Darkness game.
Yes.
That's absolutely fair.
Yes, it is.
I heard that you mentioned Everyone is John.
Oh yeah, I love rules light, like one-off, one-shot adventures. They're very, very, very fun. Well, this is not an adventure, but like games. So Everyone is John is fantastic. Honey Heist,
absolutely.
I also mentioned. I don't know if you heard of that.
Yes.
For those in the peanut gallery, Everyone is John is a game where you're playing a character who has schizophrenia, and all of the players are like personalities within the mind trying to accomplish a goal by taking control of the body and doing horrible, awful things in the real world. And this unfortunate John man is just having the worst time. Meanwhile, Honey Heist is Oh, sorry.
No, I was going to say one of the things that we wanted to do for Everyone is John is we wanted to do Everyone is John the Peasant, where we take all of our D&D characters from our group and then play them inside the head of John.
That's fantastic. I love that so much. Meanwhile, Honey Heist is a game where you are trying to, like, you're a crack team of not spies but thieves, and you're trying to do your best to commit a heist. Yeah, you're trying to steal something. There's only one complication: you are all bears, and therefore Honey Heist.
Yeah, or optionally bears with hats.
Bears with hats is optional. I was going to say.
Yeah, you have optional hats, but bears are mandatory.
So for other rules like games, I don't know if you would consider this one a rules like it's a For the Dungeon.
Oh, For the Dungeon.
Which is you are playing as the monster. Rebecca can describe that one better than I can.
So For the Dungeon, oh gosh, now I have to pull up. I backed it on Kickstarter. The creator currently has a Kickstarter going for another RPG. And I'll pull that up in a minute, and I'll put notes in the description. So For the Dungeon, you play as henchmen, essentially. So you are the low-level monsters in a dungeon or in a castle or in what have you, and you have to essentially do what your boss tells you. So your boss, your beholder, your mind flayer boss, whatever they happen to be, you can go as modern, like James Bondy or high fantasy as you want, and it's meant to be just a barrel of laughs. I think the rulebook is only like
20 pages?
50 pages long.
Yeah, it's not much. Yeah,
it's not much.
It's a lot of fun to play as like a one shot.
I know in our one shot, it was a series of one shots that we did that just had a slight continuity between them.
That's only because you played the same character.
Yeah, it's because it's because he had to find a home.
But so the basis of the game is you're running around doing stuff, and it's very slapstick. It's not a serious game at all.
Yeah.
We had our boss, which was a C holder, which is a B holder with a bespoke suit just stapled to it.
Good time.
I would have expected him to be a pirate. He would have been your C holder.
Oh, God damn it!
Oh,
Yeah, well,
man.
you
Was
can't have
it,
genius like mine all the time.
A year too late for Revolution.
And then I think another thing with the random games that you play, sometimes you'll get great rule sets from terrible games. So I think that's another reason to try even games that you wouldn't like. We played Pugmire, where you play dogs. And
It's like a 5th edition crack that was done by...
I know it was published by Onyx Path Publishing, but I don't know who did it.
It was White Wolf. No, it was Onyx Path.
White Wolf.
yeah,
No.
Yeah, that's the.
No.
We won't go into that. That is-
Maybe when they're making their games, but I don't.
But
most of White Wolf got dissolved into Onyx Path Publishing, and then that's all we're going to talk about
Like,
there on a podcast.
overall, the game itself wasn't particularly interesting, but there was one mechanic that I absolutely loved from it. For initiative, whoever rolls highest decides who goes next. So if I had the highest initiative, I can choose my teammates to go, but then I'm setting it up so that way the monster goes last on the initiative track, and then next round the monster gets to choose who goes, so he gets 2 actions in a row. It was a very different way of doing initiative, and you had to actually think about who goes when in order to facilitate everything, and I really liked that. And so I think that sometimes playing terrible games can be good, and you can learn things from it and use it in other places.
It's like Rebecca and I's experience of Exalted 3rd Edition, where it's super crunch, super slow, but it has a system to where you can better your dice rolls by role-playing better. It's called a stunt system, which I think that's not restricted to Exalted. I think most other of the White Wolf type games that use the storyteller system, I think they all have that to some certain degree, but I'm not sure on that. But that game was very crunchy, very difficult, but like the stunt system was probably part that I would pull and then put in other games.
Sorry.
Coughing.
No, I
It's
got
not
water
COVID.
there. That was my apologies.
COVID, I told you.
Yeah, we all tested.
You didn't get. Apparently, the podcast scanner doesn't work very well if you have COVID.
No, the
It's
podcast
scanning
called
you.
Scanner.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
not scanning us.
No.
Yeah.
No, yeah.
I hope
Sorry
I
We're
don't,
if
making sure you're good.
don't give my computer a virus.
Mhm.
So moving on from
Actually, I had a
Oh.
question pertaining to this.
Oh, you
actually,
did? Okay.
I did
Oh,
my
dear.
homework.
Oh,
I
goodness,
told
yeah.
you.
Well, maybe I don't
Um,
want to answer your questions.
Maybe you don't want to answer my dumb question.
you don't have to. Look, blink twice if you're in danger.
Oh shit, he's in danger. Fuck.
Hope you feel okay.
No,
Sorry.
no, no.
So obviously you did make we were just talking about it, the Stop Playing D&D video, and then in part of that video you said that people homebrew the game, the homebrew D&D to the point where they're trying to fit that square peg into the round hole, but at this point it's not really as recognizable as 5th edition D&D anymore. So the question that I had was if you could add or remove anything from, well, any
Aspect.
mechanic from Dungeons and Dragons, or like add one from another system, what would that be? You can also, I would,
Right.
Yeah, yeah.
So, that's a very interesting thing. If I were to change 5th edition, I think I might edit your question just a little bit. If I were to change 5th edition, okay, to answer your very the specific of your question, to add or remove one thing, I would change the way that skills work so that they are not all or nothing. You either have it or you don't. Your proficiency bonus is what it is. I think that helps make things a bit more simple, but it also means there's also no growth with it. You either, once you begin the game, you have those proficiencies, and then, yes, they will grow based off of your proficiency bonus, but they're either going to be, like you are going to be really good at this, or you are going to be really terrible at the things that you didn't have proficiency in. I would see it that you would, over like each level, put points into whatever you would like, or perhaps specific skills based on your class, so that there is a feeling of growth. Because right now, one of the things that makes me the most sad is, with the exception of your class's abilities, you never feel like you're really learning things. You just feel like you're being bestowed upon you more powers that like your class has arbitrarily given you. There are very few ways for you to gain skills, proficiencies, or feats you get a little bit more often, but like I said, like there's not so much a progression of the character, which for a role-playing game I do find to be a little bit of it does detract from the game a little bit for me. I can't talk to my friends, like I can't learn herbology from the druid as I go on my journey unless I spend a feat to like learn a bunch of skills at random, and that just feels awkward.
I agree with you entirely with that. That's one of my big issues with 5th edition, is that one thing I like to do with my 3.5 characters and my Pathfinder characters is whenever my character uses a skill, regardless of if it's like a class skill or anything, I put a dot next to it on my character sheet, because I've used that skill, which means that when I level up, I'm going to put points in that skill.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's actually something that I enjoy about both Changeling and Call of Cthulhu, is that as you progress, you don't actually have a level. You just gain experience, and then you can put it into things that you have been practicing with, which that just, it opens so much more, like, it breathes life into the character is what it needs to do. When I mentioned I was going to completely change your answer to what would I change about 5e, if I could make D&D take the basic structure of 5e, but change one major thing, I would remove levels from the game.
Okay, yeah,
that is
yeah.
provocative.
So, the reason being is levels are a thing that, as they are right now, they are very useful for tracking the progress of your character and balancing it as far as the dungeons go. It would take a lot of like playtesting to find something that could emulate that, but I believe that as you go, you should like gain experience from doing various different things, but that experience would then, instead of like doing absolutely nothing for you until you reach an arbitrary amount, at which point you ding and gain all of the power, you would be able to put that experience into other like abilities you have. Or if you don't want to call it experience, you can say at every milestone you can gain an ability from a large list of abilities. It would do two things. First, it would mean that you would feel more like you're progressing as a character rather than you're just progressing as a stat sheet that you've read out of a book. And two, it would mean that you would be able to build your character the way that you want, which, as much as 5e's simplicity has made it much more accessible for so many more people, it does run into the problem of when you pick a fighter, you're getting your fighter stuff. When you pick your subclass, you're getting your subclass stuff. Those are your things. You're going to level up and you're going to be forced into that track. With picking your own stuff, it would mean not only are you growing, but you're growing the way you want to. Sort of how the Warlock does right now, actually. With its invocations and spells.
Yeah. I think that is kind of why Warlock is one of my favorite classes. See, even though I hold the wrong opinion of 4th edition was my favorite edition. So,
well, I knew there was something wrong about you. I knew there had to be something. You were far too nice.
See, I enjoyed 4th edition for Gamma World, and that was it. Like, it worked for that, but not for D&D. Because again, Gamma World's silly, and you can have fun with it, but I don't want that.
Then again, your Gamma World was, okay, we're in this section, we're going to go play a different game now.
Well, yeah, no, that's, yeah.
I fully don't understand Gamma World.
Yeah.
If we had to praise 4th edition for one thing, I will say, we make fun of 4th edition quite a bit, and it does deserve it, but
Yeah.
that is, it was Wizards of the Coast making a leap into a system that they didn't know whether it was going to be good or not. And a lot of the things that, a lot of the positive things that they got from 4th edition, they did actually put into 5th edition. Without 4th edition, we wouldn't have had 5th edition, because like we had what 5th edition would have been after 3rd edition, and that was 4th edition. Like, they tried to do something new and failed, and from that failure, they found the success of 5th edition.
Yeah, my favorite thing about 4th edition, honestly, is just something that I feel Wizards doesn't do as much anymore. They release their design documents for 4th edition saying, this is like what our idea is behind this mechanic. This is why you should enjoy this mechanic. Like, they had an entire article, if I remember right, about why removing the perform skill was a good thing, because it basically boiled down to, if you want your character to be a performer, just make his backstory be a performer. Make their backstory be a performer, as opposed to putting ranks into it. Which it was an unpopular opinion. I know Rebecca has thoughts on that, but it kind of makes sense. The other thing 4th edition did that I really liked is how it categorized the classes into, like, I think it was like leader, control, damage, and then like support or something like that. And that kind of funneled into how the game was, which obviously I come from a wargaming perspective, so 4th edition is my favorite edition for that reason. Because it had the best combat system.
I am my most controversial stance is that if you would like to play like a combat heavy system, you can go play Warhammer.
Yeah.
It is a controversial opinion, but I believe that, like, in a role-playing game, roleplay should be the first and foremost thing. And some people say play how you want, and I agree, but don't push the game into being like a combat-centric game.
Yeah, I agree with it. There are plenty of board games such as what is it called? I think it's called like Brimstone or something like that. It's a little cowboy game that's it's kind of like, I wouldn't describe it as an RPG in a box. I originally described it as an RPG in a box, which was a mistake. The other two are currently glaring at me because I did describe it as that.
Yes, absolutely.
It's a little cowboy game that you're exploring mines, and like aliens and stuff come in, and you have to go kill them. And then another kind of pseudo, it has like RPG elements, but is more like a tactical game that we've been enjoying. It's called a Kingdom Death Monster, which is a game that I highly recommend you don't buy because it's $400. It is a great game if somebody else buys it.
I've bought Gloomhaven and I've already pre-ordered Frosthaven.
That is a game that we want to try out. We have heard good things. We just haven't had the time. It is on our list.
It's fantastic. I find it very, very fun. I think that the first mission is far too powerful. You should probably like play the first couple of missions like on normal, and then boost it up to whatever like difficulty you want it to be. It's one major glaring flaw because I love tabletop board games. I have an entire cabinet just filled to the brim with board games. My favorite board game of all time is the Red Dragon Inn, of which I own most of the expansions, but not all.
Yes, that is a great game. It works as an actual drinking game. Sorry, I clapped. I'm getting excited.
Not only that,
that's fine.
Let the gentleman finish.
I'm excited. I'm sorry.
The glaring problem that Gloomhaven has is that actually trying to put the thing away is it's nigh impossible. There are so many little bits and like cards and various things strewn about that you can organize a lot of it together because it has slots for them, but there's even more things, almost an entire half of it, that doesn't have any placement within the box. So you just have to throw it in, put the placement stuff on top of a lot of cardboard, and hope that it fits in the box properly. It was a nightmare to put away.
That is entirely the reason why Lords of Waterdeep is one of my favorite games, is because of the box.
So, moving away from favorites and things like that, I'm going to ask you a deep and existential question.
Oh no.
If you could cast any spell in the real world, what would that spell be?
A very interesting question. Very difficult question. Oh my. Oh me, oh my.
Suggestion. Subscribe to my YouTube.
Oh god. So my thought process was, okay, what are spells? Okay, what is, what are the spells I can choose from? If only there was a video. Oh, I've made a video. Oh, I've made a lot of videos. Oh, I hated making those videos. Out my head. Okay. Jeez. There's so. This is difficult. I feel
I
like I'm on this.
entirely blindsided you with this. I do apologize.
Yes, you. So normally when people ask me questions like these, I always respond with, "Oh, I don't have one," because I can't think of a There's so many spells, and the amount of options just leads me to blank out completely. It has to be a bard spell, but what kind of bard spell?
Ooh.
You got two bard players here with Steven and Rebecca, so you're in good company.
Oh boy, have you seen my channel? Let's see. Bard spell, probably something in the enchantment or illusion school. Alter self would be nice. I love any of the charm spells. Fuck it. Mass charm person.
Right.
Okay,
Mass charm.
that makes sense.
Yeah, that. Once you said illusion, Steven got very excited. I want you to know that.
No, not
No.
mass charm person. Hallucinatory terrain. I choose
Another good
hallucinatory terrain.
Okay, why?
Because it means I could go anywhere, and then from me,
Okay.
I could sprout out my own world that everyone else has to live in.
Ooh, that's a good answer.
Mm. I like it. Yeah.
In the vein of that question, I'm going to be a dick and ask you another complicated question.
Oh my lord, please no.
So, we did mention that we have introduced radio to Eberron and to D&D.
Right.
What is one real-world thing you would like to introduce into D&D that you think would bring something good to the game?
Bonus points if you introduce it into the Eberron campaign setting.
Yeah, oh yeah, absolutely.
We're keeping points.
Oh, okay. Oh, sure. Yeah, a lot of questions here. Remember when you asked, "Hey, do you want a list of the questions?" and I said yes.
Sorry, these questions that we are coming up with for the out of character chat.
No, these two are ones that Steven and I always do for the out of character.
Oh, I didn't know that. I apologize.
No,
I should've known that.
I like springing these ones on
Yeah.
people because then you get better answers.
We're giving the poor thing anxiety.
Oh, now I'm being belittled. I don't know if I really want to do the in-character section anymore.
Well, I'm done.
We should have done the in-character first. Damn it! Fuck!
Perhaps monetary compensation would assuage my worries.
I would be willing to discuss that. Do you want to talk about it over Overwatch?
Never even played
Only if
Overwatch.
I can play Reaper.
Didn't you play? You played on the. What,
Yeah, I was gonna say,
are
how do
you
you
on
not-
PC or are you on Xbox? Because it depends on who has to play Overwatch. Then.
Yeah, I was gonna say you know for a fact I play Overwatch. I'm a Junkrat main because I'm terrible at the game.
I haven't played Overwatch in months, I should tell you.
Yeah, same.
Hey, 1v1 means smite. Alright, let's see. A thing that would be a modern day piece of technology that would do well in the fantasy world and actually be a positive influence on it. See, Eberron does very, very well at implementing technology into the world, and it's painstaking in how it doesn't put in anything that's going to supersede the need for adventures anymore. But anything that I could come up with, there's already a parallel to it in some sort of fantasy world. Even if I said television, magic mirrors exist and they do the same thing.
Fair.
So what is a better question? What exists in the real world that doesn't exist in a fantasy world in some way? You say telephones, even I can respond to that with magic stones. They exist in Faerun, actually. Lamps, you have magical lights. What does exist that doesn't already exist in a fantasy world?
Those fancy toasters that put butter inside the toast as it toasts them.
Prestidigitation, Heroes Feast.
Oh yeah.
Speaking of Heroes Feast, I have that cookbook. Oh my, it's so.
I
so
haven't
good.
gotten it
Yeah, you
yet.
said that you ate too many of the morsels. Not the
Oh, yeah.
morsels. Nibbles.
I've been cooking thing after thing after thing. But my favorite thing so far, and what I brought this to my in-person D&D group, were halfling sweet nibbles. They are butterscotch chocolate oatmeal cookies made by halflings, and so they're like bite-sized. Well, 1 or 2 bites. But you make a whole lot of them, and then you just pile them in a big old basket and toss them out at your friends. And my favorite moment was when I looked around the room and everybody was biting into the cookies, and I thought, yeah, I made that.
So are you okay? You were complaining of the stomachache earlier.
Oh, yes, no, I'm fine. I had something to drink, and then it all went away. I bounced back. I'm still young. I can eat cookies all day and not suffer side effects until the next morning.
If you don't have ice cream for breakfast, then what are you doing with your life?
Right? There was a moment where I was at the store buying ingredients for a dish that I wanted to prepare, and I saw an entire cake, and I thought, no, I can't buy an entire cake. My mom said no. Wait a minute. My mom's not here right now, and I have the money. Haha, I'll buy this entire cake. And then I bought it.
I'm an adult. I could do what I want.
Yes, and then I bought the entire cake, and I ate the entire cake. Well, I ate half of the cake, because I got at about halfway through, I realized, yes, I am an adult, and that leads to adult problems, like upset stomachs, and the inability to eat sugar and survive.
I think we've all been there. And I know we were there recently with one of the cakes you made, where we ate like the majority of it, and then like halfway through, like we're at like the last quarter.
The
and we're
tres
just like,
leches?
yeah, we're just like,
Yeah.
this is too much. You made a mistake.
The Trebeck's milk cake.
Good stuff.
Right, so to answer your question, by the way, I have sidestepped your question.
That's fine.
No, I know. I've been keeping track.
Right.
Don't worry, I've lost track, so you would have been fine with me.
Yeah, well, you enjoy 4th edition, so.
Ooh.
Shots fired.
So, what is the item you would introduce into a
Straight back to it.
fantasy setting?
Rebecca's.
She's
I
on it.
I could not. It wouldn't be possible. It all exists. With enough imagination, it already exists.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's a good sidestep.
It's a good
Yeah.
sense. It's a good. It's a good
Maybe I
answer.
could come
It's
up with
smart
a
answer.
real answer and not anti your question if I had a bit more time to think about it. But I don't
If
want
we
this podcast
actually
to be 30
decided to
minutes
give
of
you
me
the
standing in silence.
questions.
At 4 a.m., you're going to your eyes are gonna
Right.
just burst open, and you're gonna take to Twitter.
Right. A Nintendo GameCube. Are you
I'm gonna
alright?
introduce D&D to D&D. Just really fuck up everything.
Didn't they already do that?
I think they may have.
Sounds like something they would do.
Oh, the Rick and Morty one has goblins playing
Playing
game. Yeah,
D&D,
so yes,
yeah.
you're right.
Yeah.
I do my best to stay away from those Rick and Morty things.
We didn't know we were in a Rick and Morty game
Yeah,
until
our DM reflavored it away from Rick and Morty, which was kind of nice.
That's hilarious.
So like
we were hired as dungeon inspectors, and we went hard on that the whole time.
we played it very farce.
We did not, like, every time we'd encounter bad guys, I'm like, all right, I'm here to inspect the dungeon. I'm gonna need you to go ahead and sidestep.
Yeah. You made like a little badge and everything.
I did.
that said
Dungeon Inspector. Yep. Good time.
That's amazing. Yeah, I look at that and I'm like, this is official, but I don't have to talk about it. And that's the same feeling that I get when I look at the Acquisitions Incorporated book. Oh, no, that's not the same feeling. When I look at that, I think, this is official, right? Right? It says it is, but like, is it really? Because I don't remember an announcement, and it doesn't look... If I pretend it's not there, it's not official.
Yeah.
I'm the D&D guy. If it's not on my channel, it must not be real.
It must
There you
not
go,
be
yeah.
real, yeah. Exactly.
It's just a very expensive homebrew.
I don't know. Steven and I paid a lot of money for exploring Eberron, which is literally a really expensive homebrew.
Yeah,
That's good
but
stuff,
Keith
though.
Baker,
But
like,
Keith Baker.
might have touched it.
No, he did. He
Mm.
definitely.
If he
He was-
hasn't, we're gonna
Shout,
send it
shout
to him.
out! Shout out to the Eberron Discord, by the way. They're cool guys.
Oh shit, there's an Eberron Discord?
Oh,
See,
Did
this
you
is-
not know?
So this is something that I was really surprised about when I found out that you were such, an Eberron fanboy, was that you were not part of this.
Oh, Keith's
Eberron.
on there. Wayne's
Keith-
on there. Imogen.
Yeah, Keith
I would
jumps
love
on
to
there
be
and
here.
answers questions.
Holy
Yeah.
jeez.
Yeah,
I
I'll
mean,
send you an
we
invite link.
can't invite him though because currently we're kind of popular, and as soon as he joins, we just bottom of the barrel
I know.
again.
In off topic, literally an hour ago, it was like, we're gonna do an interview with Davvy Chappy. It's gonna be so cool, and everybody's like, oh my gosh, you guys made it to the big time. Don't forget about us. And it's like, shit.
You had Runesmith on earlier. What? I feel like you're going downwards.
No.
See, but it's the Eberron community. You are bigger in the
Mm-hmm.
Eberron community than Runesmith is.
That's fair. All right. Looks like I have my army, and Runesmith only has the army of people who enjoy Dungeons and Dragons and also Pokemon.
Yeah. Well, speaking of Pokemon, that's how I've described our strategy of gaining guests. Is we are going to Pokemon our way up the
We're
ladder.
gonna just
To
make.
Keith Baker.
We're gonna get there eventually. We're gonna trick
Keith Baker is Mew.
him.
Okay, so
We want him on to do Merrick to Kenneth. Like, I really want him to come on as Merrick to Kenneth.
This is gonna be the
And do a
first
whole
episode he
interview.
ever listens to, and he's just gonna be like, "Yep, these people are creepy."
Like I said,
well, if
he
you want to
doesn't
go
listen
all the way in, for when you get bigger, here's a word of warning. People are going to try to turn you into a furry. On the topic of Pokemon, which is what brought this up. Whenever someone asks, "Hey, if you were an animal, what would you be?" Now, mind you, whenever they ask that, I can always tell that they're an artist, so I have to be very careful with my answer. And so, when they ask, "What kind of animal would you be?" my response is Giraffarig. Because no one wants to draw Giraffarig. And so, thus far, I'm not anyone's persona of anything, because no one wants to draw Giraffarig.
You broke Russ. You okay, Russ?
No.
All right, make a note of that. We need to put that up somewhere.
Giraffe
Giraffe rig. I need to make sure.
Has it? Have I made it well enough known that I don't know how to interact with people properly, and so I just espouse sidestepping memes?
No, this is
absolutely.
perfect.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
that's-
To be honest, when I asked the add or remove question, I fully expected the answer of dispel magic, because that seems to be the meme of the month now. Of like every D&D YouTuber is like, dispel magic bad because it ruins the pace and fun of the game, and it's just like, okay,
Well,
you get it.
I believe that it was actually XP to level 3 that kicked off that movement.
Jacob, yes.
But if we're being fair, I did jump on the Well, I didn't jump on the bandwagon. He released that, and I thought, no, there is a spell worse than that. And so I made a video about how I thought Counterspell is bad. I find Counterspell to be just the most intrusive thing in the world. And it's one of those things where a lot of the people who disagreed with me have the same, for them, it's the same phenomenon as healing. They don't find it a problem because players use it all the time. But the moment the bad guys start using it a lot, then it's suddenly going to be too powerful.
Mm-hmm.
Like when, yeah,
absolutely.
I agree.
Mm-hmm.
It's like playing Dark Souls and one of the enemies drinks an Estus Flax, and you're just like, no, you can't do that. I'm allowed to do that.
Or
Exactly.
in Pokemon when they
Use a
When
full
they use
restore,
any
and you're
items.
just like, come on.
Right.
table flip.
So we got to get personas ready. Is everyone ready?
Yeah.
I mean,
Okay, good.
Rusty already has his.
Already has his,
A
yeah.
bottle of mustard. If
Yep.
anybody would like to draw me as a bottle of mustard, I'm down for that.
All right, you've already got it. See, you are ready for the big leagues.
Yeah.
It has to be French's mustard, and no other brand can be it. It is French's only. If it is
You're so
store
weird.
brand,
Yeah.
Oh, I've got
can't
it.
be.
I've got it. You could, if somebody asks you what you would be, you can say you can draw me as Dungeons and Dragons 4th edition. Nobody wants to draw that.
Oh,
God damn.
Ooh,
I'm gonna go cry now. I don't know what I
Just
did.
dunk it
Other
on
than,
you. It's
Yeah.
fantastic.
yeah.
other than like a game.
I'm gonna have
It's
to take you
because
to the
everyone
hospital.
knows. Like, you can just sense it about Russell. You're like, nah, I can treat him like shit.
Every group I'm in, I become the whipping boy.
That's why they call you meats, yes.
Oh, no.
So anything else we had for the interview before we actually get to why we're
I
here?
was trying to think of like an inclusivity question, but I honestly can't think of one that without being ham-fisted about it.
I'm sorry. Are you implying that? Oh, you don't know the meme. I'm sorry.
No. I know the meme. The other two.
Oh, okay. All right. Are you implying that? I'm waiting for you.
I'm implying that you are of the
oh my
of
god,
the
no.
homosexual variety. Yes.
Oh, you poor sweet child. I thought you understood the joke. So,
apparently not. I thought I did.
For those of you who don't know, well, yeah, no, that is it. But there's a saying. So, every once in a while, I will mention that I'm gay, and it'll I don't like just making it my personality. So every once in a while, I'll just say it because you can just say it. But every time I do, it is a shock to a lot of viewers. They don't realize it. And so it's led to the meme where anytime I do that and someone didn't realize, every time someone asks, wait, Davvy's gay? The reaction needs to be, Davvy's gay? So as I ask again, are you implying
Davvy's gay?
Davvy's gay? I don't have a desk in front of me, so I'm going to have to hit my lap. So there we go.
Hit something first. It's a big, give it a big old smack.
I just fucked that. I just fucked that recording.
You peaked that mic.
Peaked that mic.
My ears.
All right, now that we've made it about me for 5 minutes, what was your question?
I guess so. I don't know if it's okay if I say this about.
Hi, we're all bisexual.
Hi, the three of us are in a bisexual household. We are not in a polycule. Hi, Jake. That is my.
Oh my god, yeah.
Yeah, if you're not listening, but Jake is my boyfriend. So
we're in a
Let's
bisexual household. People would immediately listen to. Now they've got a lot of ideas about you, Russell.
Again, bottle of French's mustard, please.
Rethink that for idea.
So I'm pretty sure the question you're about to ask is, how do you feel about how the LGBT community is viewed in the tabletop RPG community, and if there is any way that TTRPGs can grow, or ways that the tabletop role-playing community has excelled in accepting marginalized groups such as LGBT people?
Thank you for asking that way, because I was about to ask it in the most ham-fisted way possible.
You're welcome.
Okay. It's important to recognize that tabletop role-playing doesn't exist in a bubble. The advancements that tabletop role-playing has had could really be described more as the advancements that nerd culture has had, or that just our culture has had. If you tried to be any sort of thing that wasn't straight 20 years ago, then you would have to be very hush-hush about it, because it would have been very okay to not like that. But as time goes on, but that's the same way of thinking that people have for literally Dungeons and Dragons. 20 years ago, if you talked about liking Dungeons and Dragons, people would make fun of you for it, right? But as we have advanced as a society, and especially I think with the age of the internet, where everybody is connected to each other, and people are able to see and connect with more niche groups and realize that they are not alone in the world, they have gained more confidence. And more importantly, those things have been more normalized. So, as time has passed, it is alright to like Dungeons & Dragons. It's okay to be gay. Let's rejoice with the boys in the gay way. So, as far as the tabletop community and the LGBT community goes, there can always be progress. Enough will never be enough. Just, that's the reality of the world. We are always going to strive for the greatness we can never achieve. But where we are right now is leagues above where we were 20 years ago. And more importantly, we seem to be in a place where it is... How do I put this? We are in a place where being unaccepting of something like that is more and more you can't be like that. You can't not be accepting of LGBT things. And that is a good place to be in, because it's the exact opposite phenomenon, where the more that we consolidate as a group, the less that people will be able to break us, and eventually that thought process is going to wane away. It's not going to disappear completely, because it can't. But as far as community goes, I think that we are the strongest we have ever been, both as a tabletop community and as an LGBT community. I hope that answers your question a bit.
Oh, that answers my question.
Yeah,
Perfect. So, Davvy Chappy, would you be so kind as to just pitch whatever it is you're currently working on?
Oh, is this the part where I look at the 3 cameras because I ate all the spicy wings?
Yes.
Yes.
Oh.
Yes.
Is that a
Those are-
thing?
those-
Oh my
That was a
God.
Yeah,
reference
it's
to
Hot Ones.
Yeah, it's
Can
Hot
I
Ones.
eat spicy wings while you do this?
Have you never watched Hot Ones?
I've
Wait.
seen a couple.
Okay.
Yeah, I was being sarcastic. No.
Oh my. Patton Oswalt, what's wrong with you?
Oh my God. Am
Wait, am I
Patton?
Patton Oswalt or is
Can
Steve
I be
Patton
Patton?
Oswalt?
Yeah, I want to be Patton Oswald.
You are Patton Oswalt.
Yes.
Your voice, it reminds me just a little bit. Anyway, sorry for...
I love it.
But
You know what?
anyway,
I'm gonna just freak out right now. Oh my, Patton
So, a
Oswald.
little
If
bit.
you're listening, it's me.
Call me. I have a stunt double for your voice.
Just call me. We'll hang out. I don't know.
Can we watch movies like you did on Red Letter Media?
There we go.
But yes,
All right.
this is the part where you get
Yeah,
to
we gotta-
you get to just tell us stuff.
Right. I don't know if there's so much to tell. For those of you who don't know, I suppose, howdy, how's it going? My name is Davvy Chappy, and I teach people how to play Dungeons & Dragons on YouTube. You can find me on YouTube at Davvy Chappy. I also stream on Twitch every Tuesday and Saturday from 6 to 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I play variety games, but more importantly, I do like face-to-face streams. I go over the books when they come out, and every once in a while, I do streams where I cook in front of people, and
Ooh.
that'll be fun. Other than that, I don't think there really is anything else to shout out. I have a Discord. Somehow, despite the fact that I present it on both Twitch and YouTube, people don't remember that I have a Discord, but I have it, and I'm in there semi-often. Since most of my life is on computer, and especially with COVID, I can't go outside if I wanted to. I spend like time where I just want to talk to people by going into my own voice chat. So if you ever want to talk to me, you can hop in there, and hopefully I'll be cordial with you. But of course, if you like 4th edition, then I don't know what I'm gonna.
You know what? I'm just gonna go ahead and
So-
join your Discord and just get banned immediately, real quick.
Yeah.
Give me just 3 seconds.
Oh no, we
Fourth
don't ban
edition.
you.
Don't
We'll
ban
put a
you?
roll on you where you're not able to talk at all because we can't let you like propagate your awful 4th edition ways. But you're still able to watch, so that hopefully you can learn what it is to like a proper system.
I was gonna say you get to watch as everybody hates on you for liking 4th edition, but you can't.
He has it divided up so that 3.5 talk is here, 4th edition is here, and 5th edition is here, and you're the only one in 4th. You can't interact with anyone else.
Let's see. Probably gonna break a rule, but I'm just gonna add Davvy Chappy. I like 4th edition.
My 12th, I have a list of rules on my server, and my 12th rule I change just based off of whatever like the meme is. Let me check to see what it is right now. The 12th rule is giraffes are cancelled.
Giraffe
So I
rigs?
could
Good.
change it in
Giraffes
honor
are
of
not-
you. In honor of wait, what the? Oh, what you've messaged me on my
told you I was gonna-
Discord.
I-
What is this?
I told you I was gonna add you on Discord.
What is this? I am in an interview right now, sir. I say in italics.
So I'm gonna need a screenshot of this so we can put it up with everything. We'll
Oh
tweet
my
this
All right,
goodness.
that's it. Let me go to my rules. Edit message. Rule 12. 4th edition is butts. Save.
Best
Perfect.
roll. Best roll.
Best roll.
All right, Russell, you got focus in.
Fools. All right.
So
bring it back.
yes, Discord, YouTube. You are on the Twitter
Twitch.
and the Twitch.
Oh,
Both of those, actually. Oh, I also have an Instagram. That one, I would recommend you not go to unless you want to see a lot of really thirsty comments.
oh my.
I have to go there now because I enjoy reading thirst comments. It's my favorite thing to do is to read thirst comments and then go, at least I'm not that bad.
So the teddy bear that you have met of ours, he has posted some thirst pics
He
on
has indeed.
Instagram.
He's
Yeah.
the worst.
Ooh,
Yeah.
he has some tasteful nudes.
No, he the kind of tasteful. It's
Yeah,
him
they're-
laying on a beach in Oregon, sunbathing. You know how it is.
Yeah, there
Would you
are a
like to
few
see
like
my
that.
stuffing?
Oh my goodness. Oh my.
So thank you so much for
interviewing with us and doing this fun
It's been
out of
fantastic.
character, and then also playing James the shoe salesman
Right.
for the Echoers.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it very much. It's not every day that someone wants me to talk for like longer than 10 minutes. So I enjoy taking every opportunity that I can get. Now we can move on to the next section, which is me interviewing you. You mentioned that Paranoia was your favorite game, but yet you have not invited me into a Paranoia game this entire time that we've been talking to each other. How do you respond to that?
I thought that would be rude. I thought it'd be rude to immediately assume that because we invited you and because we have similar hobbies that I'd be like, well, you should play a game. I honestly, God, I thought that would just be in poor taste.
So see, I'm a horrible person, and I was going to immediately, once we stopped recording, say, hey, do you want to play Paranoia and maybe like other RPGs with us, like Good Society, which I'm sure you haven't heard of, but I'm obsessed with?
We are doing...
Sounds more like you're saving face, but in the interest of fair play, I accept.
Oh my goodness. Oh my.
Ooh.
Good Society is a Jane Austen RPG, and Rebecca has been slowly reworking it to take place in Sharn during the Sharn Gala.
The Tane Gala.
I'm sorry, Tane Gala, yes,
Yeah.
of course. There's a lot of things. So one of the things I wanted to do was, if we ever get there, running other RPGs, I want to do Eberron my game, and do just Eberron versions of different games, like Paranoia set in Eberron, call it Kyber, have it exist in a demi-plane somewhere where you get clones and all of that. I'd love to have you play Paranoia. Again, if you need anyone to play Paranoia, you need a DM, absolutely your guy.
Hell yeah. I will say, now that you remind me of it, something that whenever I because I have ran games set in Eberron before. I ran like a 3-year multi-campaign, multi-group spanning world plot, and one of the whenever I'm trying to come up with a plot of something, especially when it's characters, I like to listen to music. For Eberron, it is itself a character. Like the world is a character. And so when I want to come up with ideas for Eberron, there actually is a musical that I listen to called Dolls of New Albion. I don't know if you've ever heard of it, but it is a 3-part musical. It's 3 separate musicals set in a steampunk world that advances into an industrial diesel punk world that then further advances into a 1940s atom punk world. So like the nuclear family type deal.
That's fun.
They don't have too much to do with like fantasy, but they have a way of describing the world and describing things that go on in it, and a general vibe to it. Like things are very Victorian in steampunk, but then they become 1920s like swinger noir when they go into diesel punk. So it gives me it gives me the juxtaposition that Eberron has, like how you can be in Sharn and you're in like a speakeasy, and then you can walk 5 miles outside of it and find a traditional like fantasy village.
Oh, I'm gonna definitely have to listen. I'm obsessed with musicals, and one of the things that we do in addition to the Echoers is a side project called Kevin Capona's Tiny Taverns. One of the characters from the Echoers has created a way to summon in musical performers from across just the different dimensions. There is another podcast called Bardic Mystery Tour. They do all their own music and they write all their own songs while they're solving mysteries, playing D&D, and we had them on, and it's great because that's the fun of Eberron, is getting to work different things in. Like punk music fits weirdly in certain areas, and then your railway, Big Rock Candy Mountain folk music fits in this area of Eberron. Corvair is such a vast area, and everything works so well.
You think Corvair, from my understanding, is just scratching the surface, because there's more to Eberron than just Corvair.
Yeah, I always just focus in on Corvair.
It's where most stuff happens.
So it was Dolls of New Albion.
I could turn around and see my map of Corvair hanging on my wall.
Ooh, we have one too
in our dining room. Yeah, Rebecca got so good.
I guess we're gonna do this now. We're gonna start measuring E-pins. But what's your how big is your Corvair map?
I think now is a good time for me to go get a drink really quick because it's been a while since I've My mouth is getting a little dry, you know. Also, I don't really talk to people who play 4th edition. Be right back.
So in the time that he is gone, obviously we haven't finished out this OOC yet. I want everyone to take this moment to find Davvy Chappy's stuff and just follow him, and then in the comment after you follow him, just write bananas.
Just banana, not 4th edition?
Not. I like 4th edition heart.
Both.
Well, there we go.
Both.
Mm-hmm.
I like 4th edition
What are you
bananas.
doing to me?
all 10 of our followers are going to get it. Don't worry.
All 10. We got 10. Don't worry. We got fan art, like, last month. It was, like, oh my god.
Yeah, the fan art has been weird, and then, like, we get followers, and we have, like, 10 devoted followers who are crazy good at everything. And if you're listening, Hunter, I love you. You're the best. Please, just, keep doing what you're doing.
And by weird, he means, like, well, that's not something that happens every day.
Yeah,
We have imposter syndrome.
Yeah, I wouldn't follow us. I would just,
Oh, don't even begin with imposter syndrome.
Yeah, that was something I was going to ask, because, like, you make a lot of videos, and obviously you have an editor. How do you avoid burnout?
That has nothing to do with imposter syndrome. God damn it.
Yeah, those are two separate things. But
entirely
are you talking about burnout with Dungeons and Dragons specifically, or burnout with being a YouTuber?
Being a YouTuber.
Jinx.
Oh, well, that's very simple. So, it's difficult sometimes. The motivation isn't there, and if you rely on motivation, you are going to fail. Motivation is a fickle thing, and the moment that you decide that you need it in order to succeed, then you have already failed. I, for the life of me, have not missed a single week of uploading a video. Every single week on Saturday at noon, I upload a video. In fact, I want to upload them a little bit earlier. A while back, I had made a poll and completely forgot about it, but I asked, hey, should I make videos earlier? And people said yes. I completely ignored it, but I might actually scale it back. Point is, I know that one day, if I ever fail to upload a video, it's over for me, because that's what's keeping me going. The fact that no matter what happens, I will always upload a video every week, every single week. As far as burnout goes, you're right. I have an editor. Her name is Emma. Hello, Emma, if you're listening to this.
Hi, Emma.
She has been messaging me periodically because one of my videos that's going to come out this Saturday is going to begin with a tiny clip from Scott Pilgrim where Stephen Stills goes, "A gig is a gig is a gig is a gig." And she, because I told her, hey, get that clip real quick. She didn't know how to do that, and I didn't realize that she wasn't going to ask me how. So she downloaded the entire movie so that she could get that one segment instead of just downloading it from YouTube or something. Anyway, so yes, I have an editor. But the reason why I got an editor wasn't because I was getting burnout. It was because before COVID, my intention for this year was to do a lot more live action things. I wanted to do more like bigger projects, and so I needed time in order to do those. Thus the editor. That being said, burnout, what keeps me going is twofold. Like I said, it is the feeling that I have to get that video done every week. That ticking clock that never ends and resets at the beginning of every week. The moment my video comes out, the clock resets. I have to get back to work. But the other thing that keeps me going is knowing that regardless of how many people watch it, people are still getting something out of it. Recently, I did that DM Burnout video. I did a video talking about DM Burnout. It only got like 20-something thousand views. That might sound like a lot to like the up-and-comer, but for me, that's nothing. Like, that is easily a failure of a video. But I loved that video in spite of it, because while not a lot of people were watching it, the people who were watching it were leaving comments talking so much about how they couldn't articulate what they were feeling, but I was able to put it into words for them, and I was able to help them through that. And the idea that I am able to help somebody in the world who I don't know, who doesn't know me, and I would never have been able to reach otherwise, reminding myself that that is a thing that is happening keeps me going.
That is,
That was profound.
I was gonna say we had a couple of weeks where it was real tough, and I was just at the end of my rope. And I was like, I don't think I want to do this anymore. And we had someone write just a nice note, and I just broke down crying because it was exactly what I needed. I think that it is really nice to hear from people and to know that you're affecting people on that level.
I know it sounds egotistical, but when people send me messages saying that I got them into D&D or that I helped them get someone else into D&D, when I go to a convention or go to my local game store and people know who I am and like are excited to see me, yes, that's totally like me humble bragging, but it means that I affected somebody in a very positive way. And like, I don't think that I am alone in saying there are people in this world we affect in negative ways on accident. But to do more good in the world than bad is the only thing that we can hope for in life. And also, I get to teach people how to play 5th edition, specifically.
When are you going to start making those 3.5 videos so I can, actually enjoy that game?
I like the idea that here in a few weeks, you're going to put out a video about why 4th edition sucks.
Well, you know what?
I hope I will set an alarm for. Is it noon Eastern or noon?
Yeah, it is noon
Central?
Eastern. So
Noon
for
Eastern?
me, it's
Okay.
10:26 right now. I don't know what it is for you.
Yeah, we're Eastern as well.
I was going to say,
Oh, fantastic.
with that, 4th edition had the Gamma World, as I mentioned. If you're looking for an offshoot game, really fun to play, really easy, not as complicated as 4th edition Dungeons and Dragons. But so maybe that'd be a fun time for you, and then you could enjoy 4th edition like Russ.
I will set an alarm
Disgusting.
for Saturdays at noon to just sit there and press F5 until your video pops up, and I will be the first comment that says, I like 4th edition.
You say
I
disgusting.
almost
but-
have. It wouldn't have been a specifically, hey, 4th edition sucks video. It would have been like D&D through the years, and it would have gone over the evolution of Dungeons and Dragons and where it came from and how it got so big.
And just a big
Yeah.
blank space in between
Yeah.
2008.
Well, I think it would be really, really cool to talk about like Gary Gygax and his ousting from like that whole thing.
Ooh.
Like people don't know about it, and it's so juicy to learn about. And then like I can do a joke where like after 3.5 I can talk about 4th edition by like introing 4th edition, and then it can just be 2 full minutes of a blank screen.
That is a solid burn.
Hey, you are entitled to the things that you enjoy, but there are some people who like pineapple on pizza, and I am one of those people.
Okay, I was about to say, those gonna start some fights, real quick.
I was going to end the interview on this one.
No, we're done.
Hey, I'm not about yucking anybody's yum.
That's fair. That is true.
Yeah, that's like number 1 rule of Eberron. Don't yuck somebody's
Don't yuck someone's yum.
Unless they like guns and Eberron.
Again, I don't have a problem with guns and Eberron. I understand why some people do, but I think
Eberron's
it's
the place to have guns, but it should be
yeah.
like steampunky guns with
It's
magic.
It's
Like
true.
like a 6-shooter with magic missiles.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Even then, I feel like because it's Eberron is magic as science,
I think
they wouldn't really need the need for a gun.
lot of
Yeah.
the pushback on it, I think, is just because guns is, it's guns.
Everybody thinks that you have a Glock, when in actuality, everybody is just like, no, you get one shot and you have to reload for the next 5 minutes.
Damn it, that wasn't Skulls and Shackles. So we did touch briefly on
This is
the.
getting ridiculous.
This is getting ridiculously long,
I
and I want to say that's my
No,
fault.
let's keep going.
Uh,
Hey, you edit, right? You can just put the end bit that we did in the middle of this. You can put that at
no,
the end.
we will leave
yeah.
it with the chaos. I like the chaos of us starting and stopping 10 times.
Oh, sure, meandering. That's fine.
Yeah,
What
they
was
don't
the question?
expect any less from us.
Yeah,
Yeah,
for the out of characters, it's just kind of wild.
This is what happens with our out of character interviews.
We're like, oh, hey, we're not putting out a video this week because we had computer problems. Let's talk for an hour about nonsense. But I was going to say, imposter syndrome. How do you deal with that?
Oh, it's impossible. I wake up every day and feel like I've taken the spot that somebody else is owed, and I don't even know how or who. There's really I make a living off of talking about a game that somebody else made, I'm literally reciting things from a book that somebody else wrote, and the most contribution that I'm making is information that somebody else can tell. Like, there's no version in which I am a necessary cog in this machine. But the only way that you, like, rationalize it is you are the cog. Like, sure, anybody else could do it. And I implore anybody else to do it. Like, my job really isn't difficult. But I still was the person that did it. And I have to keep reminding myself, like, yes, anybody can do it, but I'm not taking anybody's space. Like, anybody else can still make a D&D channel after me, and it can do better or worse or just as well as mine. And I'm not stopping anybody from, like, accomplishing that goal by existing.
Hashtag dethrone Davvy Chappy.
Do your best.
That's not us. No,
I don't know. I've got
no.
a pretty good linchpin on Unearthed Arcanas.
Yeah.
It might be a little tough to yank me off of that.
That is the thing that they definitely come to your channel for, is like, I wonder what nonsense Wizards is trying to figure out now. Oh, they have a monk class that's entirely about using a spoon as a weapon.
I think that is a great way to look at it, because I think that you existing in D&D and in that space, if it couldn't ever hurt someone else, it, in fact, most or more often than not, encourages other people to do it. I know that, like, I wouldn't have done this without half of the YouTubers I've seen out there, or without, all of the options that we have available to us. Why are you making weird faces at me?
No, my eye itches just really bad.
Oh, okay.
I mean, you're just saying weird things. I can't help it. It's my face.
I love your face.
I love my face too. Oh shit!
Okay, don't worry. I don't know if you heard the Minecraft villager in the middle of thing.
Have you been playing Minecraft this entire time?
No,
Are you
I'm
telling me that in
Terraria.
your important interview with a guest, you have been going around stacking blocks and unstacking other blocks?
No,
And explaining in
no.
the virtues of 4th edition.
No. So there's this app called Webtoons. It's like webcomics.
Oh, I know.
And-
Sweet Home is one of my favorite reads of the past year.
Ooh, I have not read Sweet Home yet. I'm currently obsessed with Lore Olympus and
You and all of my other friends.
everybody else. Exactly. There's quite a few on there that I'm just like super obsessed with, and so whenever one of my webtoons updates, I get a villager noise, and it always sounds at the most inopportune times.
We'll have like a very serious conversation, like about household stuff and like everybody's emotions, and then in the middle of it is just it's like, well, there goes that entire conversation. Let's wrap this up and try
that
again
take.
tomorrow.
That's great.
All right, are we ready to give this a try?
What ending this
Actually,
OOC?
ending this, I will stop talking now.
Russell, we wanted
I
that the
feel
whole
like,
time.
honestly, why do we even need to be doing a podcast? Why don't we just all just hang out?
I mean, I'm down.
I mean, yeah,
absolutely.
we should do that. I
You
just
know what? Here,
joined your
look,
podcast.
yeah.
Or your,
I don't know
your
what my
This
phone
podcast?
number is, but I'll give it to you.
I
You're
sent-
more than welcome.
I sent you an invite to their Discord, to his Discord. So
Oh, I'll never accept it.
no, I sent Steve an invite to your Discord.
Yeah, I will never.
Oh.
I'll have to figure out how that works. Let's be honest.
Who's pinging me now?
Me.
Oh. Why
I
do you
did
like
private
this?
message you a link to the Eberron Discord, by the way, if you
I
wanted
did
to
get
join that.
Davvy Chappy's the first person saved on my phone. It's been a year. Oh shit!
But no, thank you so much for doing this OOC with us, even though
It's been fantastic.
This has been a lot of fun. An hour and a half of just nonsense.
Is this the part where I get to talk about the things that I have, my YouTube and Twitch?
Yeah,
Yes,
absolutely.
please plug your
Yeah,
stuff.
Go ahead. We
Oh
wanna
yeah,
make
yeah.
sure
So
that
I got
this has to be
YouTube, I
as
got
about
Twitch,
you
I
as
got
possible.
Instagram. I got OnlyFans where I sorry, it's OnlyFay.
Okay,
Okay.
all three of us got very excited for just a second there.
Well, I want to see a bigger community. Like, we want to be on OnlyFans, and it's just us
A bigger OnlyFans community.
Yeah.
A D&D OnlyFans needs a crossover.
Yeah. I will just read books in the voice of my character. That's what people want, right?
What is this? A crossover episode?
But yeah, thank you so much. And I hope everybody has a wonderful day. We're really bad at endings.
Wow. All right.
Did Mr. Chappy actually plug his stuff, or did we just talk
Yeah,
over him?
no,
No, you did.
Okay.
I did in the middle of this.
Yeah, like-
In the middle of everything.
Do you want to like,
I'm
just plug
perfectly
everything
fine
in?
not
How are you
plugging
not
myself
moody?
again, but if you'd like, yeah, you can find me on YouTube, you can find me on Twitch, you can find me on my own personal Discord, you can find me on Instagram, Twitter, you can't find me on Facebook, but you can also find me on Patreon, where I am donating all of the money that I make to myself, because I need to pay bills.
Yeah, no,
That's a good cause.
yeah,
That is
absolutely.
a very good
Okay,
cause.
cool. Yeah. That's
Yeah,
good
thank,
cause. Yeah.
thank you all for coming to my podcast. But yeah, Davvy out.